Buenos dias a todos. In this video I just want to talk through the official recorded reasons why people who live in Spain leave Spain again. It's the 6th of March and it's around 10 o'clock and we've got 16 degrees, but it's still very wet. We've just had another big shower of rain going on there. I had been reading an article about British people who lived here leaving Spain, and I thought it might be interesting just to have a wee look at some statistics and actual facts. So I've done a bit of digging. It's important to note that some people do go back to the UK, but there are people go to other countries as well. I've looked at the numbers, and I've looked at people who want to go back to the UK, and I've looked at people who go somewhere else. So rather than look at all individual countries, so I just want to go through some of the stats. It makes for interesting reading. So why do people who have lived in Spain then decide to leave? So studies that I've read show that before Brexit, and this bloody Brexit word keeps coming up, but we just can't help it. It's just one of these things that happened, and we're still living with the consequences and will for a long time to come. So before Brexit, around 29% of people who lived in Spain that were asked about it in part of the survey, and it was quite a large survey, I don't know the numbers, but there was certainly tens of thousands. So around 29% of people had indicated that they would consider going back to the UK from Spain. And the interesting thing is that a study that was done a couple of years after Brexit has shown that has now dropped to around 14%. So so it's half the amount of people who live here after Brexit and show intention are moving back to the UK. So that's the first interesting thing to note, that less people want to go back since Brexit. So that tells you something, doesn't it? So between 2003 and 2021, the report shows that just over 113,000 UK residents who lived in Spain left Spain to go somewhere else. But I suppose like a lot of these things, the devil's in the detail. And when you analyse the figures further, only 16,000 of those returned back to the UK. Just over 97,000 people went somewhere else. So they left Spain and then moved to another country, and there's a whole heap of different countries in there, but I didn't think you want to get a whole list. So only a small percentage of people, UK residents who lived in Spain, actually went back there when you look at the total numbers. And I must stress that the report was showing people over 55. So 55 years and over are the main people in this study. So people that's retired for the most part. So the next thing I wanted to do was to look at the reasons why. Why would someone who'd lived in Spain decide to go back to the UK or somewhere else? Now, the first and most common reason is sadly the death of their spouse or partner. There's lots of people that decide that once they're left here on their own, that they just don't want to live on their own in a foreign country. So that's the main reason why people will leave Spain and go back to the UK. The next most common one is a decline in their health. So obviously they become ill, or whatever, their health conditions get too bad to the point where they feel they need to go back to the UK. And the next point is that they have a decline in their income. Now, the report didn't go into reasons why that would happen, but I suppose it's inevitable that people maybe have savings, they've been using that to live, the savings run out, or maybe they've got money in a pension pot that runs out. So don't know why that would be, but obviously a decline in their income is another reason why people decide to go back. The next thing that people have said is that they've had to give up their car, and so they're unable to get out and about the way they did before, and they can sort of feel increasingly isolated when that happens. Now that for me brings up a really important point about living in Spain, and it's something really anyone that's considering coming to live in Spain has to consider. So one of the main things you need to consider when you come to live in Spain, probably to be honest in any foreign country, is you have to make your life work there. You have to go out and make things happen. You can't just sit back and expect to do what you did before in the UK here, because it's just not going to happen. You need to go out, you need to find friends, you need to socialise, you need to find groups of people that you can get on with and almost build your own little support network and support structure, so that if anything ever goes wrong, that you're not on your own. And it would appear that a lot of people who come to Spain just don't do that. They kind of focus on their own little life and don't really mix. So you have to get out and about and mix and make things happen. The next thing that people have said is that they are unable to travel back and forward to the UK as often as they'd like to see family and friends. And increasingly, that happens as you get older and grandkids come along. So people really seem to struggle with not being able to see their grandkids as often as they'd like. So that's a reason why people go back as well. And on a related subject, people have said that they sometimes think about going back or choose to go back because their close friends have moved back. So they get some friends that have moved, they keep in touch with them, and I suppose it's a bit like this thing that the grass is always greener. People will hear their friends chatting about how their life is better back in the UK, and it kind of rubs off on them a bit. So they lose the friendship, they don't have those close friends that they had before, and then they hear that they're having a nice life back in the UK, so they think about doing it as well. And then another reason that was given, and it's way down the list, is that people have had a nice lottery win. So they've come into a chunk of money. And given that lots of people sell their property in the UK, when they decide to go back, most people, they've not got a hope in hell of being able to buy a property, anything like the one that they had when they left, because obviously the property values in the UK just keep going up and up and up. So people sell a house, move away for a few years, and then buy another house, and when they go back and they find that they can't buy anything anywhere near what they thought they could or what they had before. So if you get a wee lottery, well, if you get a big lottery win, it kind of puts you in a nice strong position to be able to do something about that and buy something back in the UK. I hope you enjoyed that wee informative video about the reasons why British people who live in Spain, why they choose to either go back to the UK or to go somewhere else. And if you did like it, please click on like and subscribe, and take time to leave a comment. I really do appreciate it. and it helps us grow the channel. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all as usual on the next video. Hasta luego.